Hi there, it's Andrew from Stitch. If you're a new member of Stitch, or even if you're an existing member, chances are you have a bunch of questions. And you could spend some time going to our customer support portal. We've got a lot of articles there that talk about Stitch, but we know that that's a bit of a drag. So we thought, you know what? We get asked questions all the time, and there's a bunch of common questions that people seem to ask again and again. So I thought I'd put together a video which answers most of those common questions. Hope you enjoy it. How do I use Stitch? It's the biggest question of all, right? In fact, it's so big that I'm not really including an answer here. We've created a separate video about how to use Stitch that you can find on our YouTube channel or on Stitch support. Let me show you how to find it. On the Stitch homepage, go to the More menu and click Videos. This will take you to the Videos page on the Stitch website, which contains a sample of a few of the most important videos about Stitch, including an overview of membership plans, news coverage, weekly updates, and member testimonials. Like I said, that's just a sample. If you click the link to our YouTube channel, you'll find all the videos we've ever created about Stitch, including detailed tutorials and every single community update I've ever recorded. Make sure you hit the subscribe link so you can stay updated on all the fun stuff that's happening in the community. And you'll find out whenever I create a new tutorial, starting with the most important one at the top of the page here, how to use Stitch. I'm glad you asked. Not everybody knows that we have a very detailed support site where you can find answers to most of the questions you've got, but we also have a YouTube channel with tutorials and videos like this one to help answer the questions you've got. So let's take a look at how you can find help and answer the questions you've got about Stitch. The Stitch Help Center can be found on the More menu on the Stitch homepage, or you can just browse to support.stitch.net in your browser. You'll find articles on pretty much everything you need to know about Stitch, organized by category, from getting started, to how groups and activities work, to meeting other members, and frequently asked questions. If you can't find the answer you're looking for, you can reach out to Stitch for help. On the More menu, you'll see an item called Contact Stitch. It'll pop up a little window that lets you communicate directly with the Stitch team, most likely Jay, who originally joined Stitch as a member himself, just like you. But if it's not Jay, it'll probably be me. There are only two of us, so we can't always respond straight away, particularly out of hours, but we always do our best. You can view all your past conversations with support here, as well as start a new one if you need to reach out. Just click Send us a message, type your question, and we'll do our best to help. Worth noting that hitting the Enter key here will send your message immediately, so if you want to type multiple lines, try using Command Enter or Control Enter on your keyboard instead. So one of the most common questions we get on Stitch from people seems to be, what are those badges that I see next to people's profiles? So a bit of history. When we first created the community, we learned we needed a verification system to be able to keep people safe. Scammers try to sign up, and we need to be able to verify that someone is real, they match their profile before we let them communicate. And our verification system goes a long way to keeping the community safe. But we also learned that we had to have a way to differentiate who was a highly trusted, valuable member of the community who's contributing to the well-being of everybody else, and maybe who wasn't. And the reason for that is our members who are creating events in their local area, trying to build a community, they need to be able to reach out to as many people as possible because they're doing a great thing for other people. But other people maybe aren't so much. You know, sometimes we get a member joining and their only interest is in sending lots of messages for their own personal reasons, and that's fine, but it doesn't necessarily create the best community. So we settled on a model that uses a way to recognize people who've contributed positively to the community as a way of identifying and rewarding those members. And that's our membership and rewards system on Stitch. And essentially you get membership points, which is a recognition for contributing positively to the community. That can be through organizing events and activities or by getting new members to join, that sort of thing. You can find out about it online. The more that you contribute, the more that your status grows. And it's a little bit like a frequent flyer program. Within the 12-month period, the more that you do, you can then move up a level from bronze, silver, gold, platinum, and all the way up to diamond. And the further you go, the more that we're able to give you the ability to do things that we wouldn't necessarily trust everybody to do because you're a much more highly trusted member. So if you see people with those high status levels on Stitch, it really just means that they've done a lot for the community and they've created events and you know, they probably know a lot more about Stitch, so you can ask them questions and they can help you out. They can particularly, most of the time, people on gold level or above can help you get verified if you come along to one of their events, but there's plenty of other things they can do too. And if you're not sure what I'm talking about, this is what member badges look like on Stitch. Next to every member's avatar is a badge that shows their status level. You can see the activities page often has a lot of members with a high status level because they're the ones doing a lot for others simply by having fun, suggesting things they'd like to do. To get an explanation of all the badges, you can click on anyone's badge in the community discussions, which will pop up this little widget here. Click the Learn More link to find an article on Stitch support which explains everything in detail. This is a very common question we get. Is Stitch a dating site? And the very simple answer is no. Stitch is not a dating site. That doesn't mean you can't find romance in the community. If you've signed up already, you've probably already seen that you can choose to specify, are you looking for romance with men or women or not? And the flip side of that is you can choose to specify you are actively not looking for romance. We've got plenty of married couples in the community or people only looking for friendship. Stitch is about companionship. And companionship is so important because it influences the way we lead our lives, our choice of leisure activities, our social engagement, our friends, even our health. It's such an important part of the way we live. And if you're interested in more, there's a bunch of articles and videos I've recorded about this previously, and I encourage you to take a look. But romance is actually a form of companionship. And some of our members are really actively looking for romance. More often than not, they're open to the idea, but they're not necessarily expecting it's going to come along straight away. But if it does, they'd be happy to find it. And my philosophy personally is that you're more likely to connect with someone when you're doing things around shared interests. You discover that you both have a passion for the same sorts of things. You discuss things in the same way. You end up connecting with someone and then you discover that romance blossoms. That's very different from the way a dating site works. A dating site is built around judging people by what they say about themselves, the photographs and all that sort of stuff. And then you fall into this trap of spending all your time online and not really engaging or improving your lives. Stitch is about improving your life. So we encourage you to, if you are looking for romance, that's absolutely cool. Get out there, meet people, find and engage with the people that you click with, and something great will happen. But if you're not looking for romance, and most of our membership is mainly looking for friendship, that's totally fine too. And the great thing about Stitch is both can go hand in hand. But we just ask for people to throw themselves into life and get the most out of it, because then, in our view, that's how you're going to find what you're looking for. So this is a very common question. How do I find out how many people are in my area? One thing about Stitch you probably don't realize that you'll see events and activities and groups and some local activity that's happening in your area, but there are often a lot more people who live nearby who've joined Stitch and might not be active. They're waiting for you to reach out, or they're waiting for people to start organizing events to come along to. So that's where the Stitch members page comes in. Let's take a look, shall we? The members page is where you find and connect with other members on Stitch. The filter section at the top of the page lets you choose who you want to view. Instead of choosing to look at people closest to you, for example, you might want to look at those members who are newest to the community and who have just signed up. New members are just getting started, so it's great to send them a quick note to welcome them and say hi. Or you can ask Stitch to suggest members based on your companionship preferences, the number of interests you've got in common, how responsive they are, or how much they've provided on their profile. You can click on a member to find out more about them. If you'd like to say hi, just hit the message button to send them a message. Does Stitch have an app? Yes, we've got an app. We put a lot of work into it. We want you to use it. So if you haven't downloaded the Stitch app yet, we've got an app for Android and for iPhone, and it's designed to work hand in hand with the Stitch website. Both the app and the site work very, very similarly. But the app has the advantage that it helps you respond to events on the go, works with instant messaging, that sort of thing. So if you haven't downloaded it, let's take a look at how you can do that. As with most questions, the best place to start is with the Stitch Help Center. Simply search for Stitch app, and you'll see our articles about how to find and download the Stitch app for both iPhone and Android. If you're reading the article on your phone, then just click the relevant link to take yourself to the App Store or the Play Store, where you can download and install the app. Or just search for Stitch Community in the App Store to find it. When you first joined, you would have been led through the sign-up process where you asked a few questions about yourself and your photograph and so on to create a profile on Stitch. Most members put in the minimum information at that point because, to be honest, they don't know much about the community at that point. So it's pretty common to want to come back to update your profile, improve it, because the better profile you have, the easier it is for other members to find out what you are like, find common interests, connect with you, and that sort of thing. So here's how you change and update your profile on Stitch. So just go to the More menu and click Profile and Settings, and then click Your Profile. That'll take you to the page that has all of your profile information, your companionship preferences, your photographs, you can put plenty of photos, your location, and you can even change your location whenever you want. You might be traveling, you might be relocating, and remember that the community is global, so there are people all over the world for you to connect with. Of course, when you're allowed to travel again post-COVID, you've got your About You description, what you're looking for, and your interests, which are really important for helping you discover events and activities and groups that are relevant to you and other people to connect around similar interests with you. If you've just joined, you probably want to know about Stitch interest groups and how you join a group. Probably no surprise that Stitch groups are found on the groups page in the Stitch community. If you click on a group, you'll see everything about it. All the organizers, the members, the activities, there's lots of information, group chat. You can get involved with everyone through the group itself. But actually, a lot of activity happens not just in the groups, but just through activities themselves. So if you look at the activities page on Stitch, you'll see that some activities are for general community, and some of them have a title which indicates they're part of a group. And if you attend an event, like this one here from Ellie, for the Gladesville Groovers and Beyond, you'll actually be joining her group. Anyone who joins that event will be given the option to join the group. So actually you don't actually need to be hunting around for groups to find, you just need to be getting involved in the community, and that way you grow your social circle through Stitch. And if you have joined a group, it means you'll be the first to be notified about new events, so you won't miss out on doing the things that you want to do. This is one of the most important things about Stitch. The reason is it's one of the philosophies that we have, particularly when we first started, was the idea that all of our members have things that they would love to do in their lives. The thing that's missing is other people to do them with. As we age, our social circles shrink for a range of reasons. People relocate, your friends move, life changes. But that doesn't change the fact that there are things that you would like to do with your time, and you might be missing out just because you don't have someone to do it with. You know, it gets a bit boring going to eat in a restaurant on your own. Doing it with friends, so much more fun. So the idea with Stitch is any full member can suggest something they like to do. And then other people in the community who also share that interest will then do it with you. So rather than writing that you have a good sense of humor and you like comedy, for example, say, hey, here's a bit of comedy I'd like to see. And then other people who like that comedy, by definition, will actually come along with you. It's as simple as that. And it's designed to be really, really easy to do. We know that a lot of members take a while to try it before they try it for the first time, but once they do, they find their lives just open up. So let's take a quick look at how to create an event on Stitch. You can create an event just by clicking on the homepage on the I would like to button and then suggest an activity. Or you can click on the activities page itself, the big red button at the top of the page. The suggestion process is simple, step-by-step, series of basic questions. The event type, you can make it full members only, public, but just generally stick with a regular event. You get to choose if it's a virtual or in person. Then you provide a short description for what your event is. Make it snappy. A short personal invitation, telling everyone why they should come along and why it's going to be great. Slightly more detailed description, anything that's important about the event that you need to share, put it here. You get to choose any interests. This way people can find events that are interesting to them based on their interests. You get to choose the date and the time, of course, pretty sensible. And if it's an in-person event, you get to specify the address of the venue, the address and the name of the venue. So again, it's all really, really straightforward stuff. If I'm doing an event at the Terminus Hotel, it comes up with the address and I give it a label so everyone knows how to find the venue. If there's an attendee limit, you can put that in. For a virtual event, there really needs to be an attendee limit because for a virtual event, there's a maximum number of people you can have. And at the end, you can either choose your own image if you've got one from the web, or get the system to choose one for you. You get to have a look at what it looks like, hit submit, and away you go. It's that easy. Pretty soon, you'll have other people who'd like to do that sort of thing with you in your area joining. And that's it for now. That's the end of our first video about frequently asked questions. Stay tuned, we've got a whole bunch more questions still to come. But if you're just getting started, welcome on board, enjoy, and please reach out if you need any help. Bye for now.